Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. We'd like to present to you three articles of interest. And before I do that, we'd like to let you know this is for review, informational, and educational purposes. It's not to take the credit for the intellectual property of the article. The full credit to the intellectual property of the article goes to the publisher, which in this case is the Jerusalem Post, and the story by PR. Headline reads, Samsung's silver battery revolution, faster, longer range, and cheaper. And in front of you see a picture of said battery, and the caption reads Samsung, copyright, photo credit is PR. A groundbreaking new report from the Silver Academy has unveiled the potential of Samsung's silver solid-state batteries to revolutionize transportation industry and drive a significant increase in demand for silver. The report estimates the widespread adoption of this technology could lead to a surge in silver prices and reshape the global silver market. The potential impact for the solid-state batteries. Samsung's silver solid-state battery technology offers several advantages over the traditional lithium-ion batteries. The first one is its reduced weight. That is, silver batteries are significantly lighter than lithium-ion batteries, leading to improved vehicle efficiency and range. The second is improved safety, that is, which is silver batteries are less prone to overheating and fire, making them safer for use in various transportation applications. The third one refers to the simplified material requirements. That is, silver batteries require fewer materials and are less dependent on critical materials, or excuse me, it is a material, but critical minerals like cobalt and nickel. And the fourth major one is the potential for lower costs. As production scales up, silver batteries could become more cost-effective than lithium-ion batteries. Expanding beyond cars and trucks. The applications of silver solid-state batteries beyond passenger vehicles, the technology could also be used in. And ahead of you, I have related videos entitled Samsung SDI signs EV battery deal with GM. NVIDIA world's most important stock, global headlines, ET now. Meaning as per ET now. And this video will be available upon publishing of this review. Also for buses and trains. Electric buses and trains powered by silver batteries could reduce emissions and improve air quality in urban areas. Airplanes. Silver batteries could be used in smaller electric aircraft or as hybrid power source for larger commercial aircraft, reducing fuel consumption and emissions. The growing demand for silver. The adoption of solid-state batteries across various transportation sectors, including cars, trucks, buses, vans, and ships, barges, ferries, yachts, and airplanes, could create a massive demand for silver. The report estimates that the annual silver demand could increase by 25,400 metric tons if a significant portion of these vehicles adopt this technology. As for the market implications, such a significant increase in silver demand could have profound implications for the silver market. That is, for a couple of reasons. First one is rising prices. Silver prices are likely to experience a substantial increase as demand outpaces supply. Also, increased mining activity. The silver mining industry would need to expand to meet the growing demand, leading to increased investment and job creation. Also for recycling opportunities. Recycling silver from decommissioned batteries could become a crucial industry to support sustainable use of the resource. The current annual global silver production is approximately 25,000 metric tons. If the estimated increase in demand due to the adoption of the silver solid-state battery materializes, it could represent 101% increase in silver production. This would put significant strain on the existing mining infrastructure and potentially drive up silver prices. Now the conclusion. Silver solid-state battery technology has the potential to transform transportation industry and drive a significant increase in demand for silver. As the world transitions to electric vehicles and other forms of sustainable transportation, The silver market is poised for a period of growth and opportunity, and this source is https://thesilverindustry.substack.com/p/exploring-samsung-silver-solid state. And the author would like to point out that the article contains affiliate links that Microsoft and or publisher may receive a commission from if you buy the product or service through these, or that is, those links. And what do you think of that? If you have a constructive opinion about it, feel free to put it in the comments below. Well, let's get to our second article. And before I read the second article, would like to let you know, as usual, that this is for review, informational and educational purposes. It's not to take the credit for the intellectual property of the article. The full credit to the intellectual property of the article goes to the publisher, which in this case is Tom's Hardware, and the story by Anton Shilov. Headline reads, U.S. government tightens China restrictions on supercomputer component sales. And in front of you, you see such an environment for supercomputer where you see the actual rack servers. Like each one is a rack, is what they call a rack server, and then you have the cabling for it in this data center, it looks like. And caption reads, U.S. government tightens China restrictions on supercomputer component sales. Copyright Argonne National Laboratory. The U.S. government has proposed a regulation requiring citizens and permanent residents to report transactions including the construction of supercomputers with performance exceeding 100 petaflops in countries of concern, primarily China, reports HPC Wired. The regulation is meant to further solidify restrictions imposed in 2022 that prevented selling processors that enable 100 pflops or petaflops supercomputers to China. The document provisions pertaining to U.S. investments in certain national security technologies and products in countries of concern explicitly identifies categories of transactions, that is, involving technologies and products that may contribute to the threat of our national security in the United States. In 2022, the U.S. government prohibited chip makers, as well as distributors, from selling processors that could enable building supercomputers with performance of over 100 FP64 petaflops over 200 FP32 petaflops within 41,600 cubic feet, which is 1,178 cubic meters, or similar pace. That is similar space to Chinese entities or entities associated with China. The new regulation specifically targets transactions related to building, selling, or producing supercomputers in countries of concern, that is China, Macau, and Hong Kong, with over 100 FP64 pflops or 200 FP32 pflops in the said dimensions. The new rules are not limited to developers of CPUs, GPUs, and FPGAs, but cover a much broader spectrum of hardware. These rules also apply to individuals or entities controlling interest in foreign organizations or those involved in managing such activities. And in front of you, there is a related video entitled, China's Appetite and Dreams About Taiwan Are Still There, says CFR's Richard Haas, as per CNBC, and you'll be able to view this video upon the publishing of this review. The Semiconductor Industry Association, or SIA, and the National Venture Capital Association, or NVCA, have voiced strong opposition to the proposed law. They argue that the financial burden of compliance could significantly higher than the government's estimates, potentially reaching up to $100 billion. These groups also worry that the restrictions could erode the U.S.'s competitive edge in the semiconductor industry. I doubt that. I think it's just quite the opposite. When you have something your competition doesn't have, that by definition is a what they call a competitive advantage. Venture capital firm Anderson Horowitz, that is A16Z, has suggested that the government should reconsider focus on computing power thresholds, arguing that these could quickly become outdated. Instead, they propose that restrictions be based on the type of foreign entities involved rather than the computational capabilities. At the proposed regulation, it means the comment period, the tech industry continues to push revisions, emphasizing the need for clear definitions and a more focused approach that safeguards national security without shifting innovation or harming U.S. companies' global competitiveness. Harming in the sense that what they're not able to be greedy. Yeah, that's harming competitiveness. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, let's get to a third and final article. And before I do that, we'd like to let you know this is for review, informational, and educational purposes. It's not to take the credit for the intellectual property of the article. The full credit to the intellectual property of the article goes to the publisher, which in this case is /gear, and the story by Adnan Ahmed. Headline reads, 3 things Raspberry Pi can do that Arduino can't. And ahead of you see the actual main board of the Raspberry Pi and the componentry on the main board itself. Caption reads, Raspberry Pi logo on a circuit board, otherwise known as a main board. Copyright Robot Tech, Getty. And if you're not familiar with Raspberry Pi, it's basically the small kits that you can buy. It's what they call a computer on a board. So it has all the major ports for a basic computer. The only thing it doesn't have is some of your peripherals like keyboard, mouse, and obviously a screen, but they're actually coming up with things that already has a screen too. So that's being shored up. Now to the article itself. Carrying both creators and educators, both the Arduino and Raspberry Pi are exceptional platforms to build DIY projects. That is, do it yourself. That's DIY, the acronym, that's what it stands for. These could range from simple hobby-based creations like automatic door locking system or animated display to more sophisticated industry-level applications, such as programmable robotic arms and wearable health monitors. There are plenty of fun and easy Arduino projects for beginners, the same way the list of unexpected use for Raspberry Pi is huge. Understanding the differences between Arduino and Raspberry Pi is crucial, since both the systems excel in their own new ways of applications. When the Arduino is the default choice for many handling simple sensor-based designs, the Raspberry Pi has been chosen for a broader range of functionalities to future-proof scalable projects. But what exactly can a Raspberry Pi do that the Arduino can't? Before you start gathering tools for your next creative assignment, it's best to assess your framework which framework better fits your requirements. And ahead of you see, it says Raspberry Storages. So you see a variety of things on this there's different terms, workbench, workspace. You see circuit boards, you see what's called a breadboard, which is the white board. Here we have various other external devices connected to it. And you have other tools here. You also have one that measures the oscillating frequency of an AC curve, or what they call a sine curve, and also another tool here too. And various other tools here on what they would call a workspace, or otherwise known as a workbench. Caption reads, Arduino and various testing tools, copyright Mishri Omar Shutterstock. Although the seemingly endless repository of cool projects on the internet may suggest that the Raspberry Pi and Arduino are interchangeable systems, they actually serve distinctly different roles on the fundamental level. The Arduino is a microcontroller that's best suited for handling single operations. Microcontrollers have lower processing speeds that tend to consume less power, making the Arduino a more efficient option. Raspberry Pi, on the other hand, is a microcomputer capable of handling multiple processes at the same time. This means a Raspberry Pi actually runs a full-fledged operating system and thus is able to perform most of the computing tasks you would expect your computer to do, just on a smaller scale. Compared to the Arduino, the Raspberry Pi has significantly more RAM and faster processor. It also has more connectivity issues at opening the doors to a slew of other applications that the Arduino just can't undertake out of the box. Ahead of you see a picture of this device. I believe that's Arduino. And this is connected, I believe, to another device which is connected to a USB port to a laptop. Our caption reads, Writing Code for Raspberry Pi. Copyright Bogdan Vija / Shutterstock. And I am uploading a basic electronics course which is on another channel. So basically, what happens with Raspberry Pi is that for you to program it, there is an interface. There's a software interface that you can set up. You can configure things, and also there's a manual way where you can program the device in C language. So it's another option. As stated before, Raspberry Pi can run all the full operating system, which is Linux in most cases, but also can handle different flavors of the OS and even trimmed down versions of Windows. Furthermore, Raspberry Pi supports several high-level programming languages like Java, Ruby, Scratch, and Python, compared to just C/C++ on the Arduino, which I was referring to. Pairing this with the Pi 64-bit quad processor can write complex code to achieve multifunctional programs. For example, you can use a Raspberry Pi to add and streamline connectivity between your household's various smart devices like lights, heaters, and security cameras. A single program can utilize both sensor outputs, such as motion or temperature detection, and output automated commands to provide a cohesive smart home environment. Or perhaps you can leverage its versatility to create useful projects for your backyard using Raspberry Pi. For example, Heater Meter is a smart Raspberry Pi-based barbecue controller that assists in slow cooking by adjusting the speed of the blower fan. And ahead of you see a picture of such a computer with symbols like, for example, cloud and other things. And it says Internet connectivity with Raspberry Pi. Caption reads, cloud icon on a circuit board, which is this right here. Copyright gov't. Another key differentiating factor between the two platforms is connectivity. Not only does the Raspberry Pi support more I/O pins than the Arduino, but also has good range of communication ports too. You can effortlessly add internet connectivity to your Raspberry Pi by just using an Ethernet port. This unlocks numerous possibilities when it comes to building projects with the microcomputer. So that basically gives you connectivity for a wired connection. That's your Ethernet port. With just a few resources and time on your hands, you can set up a web browser on Raspberry Pi. This can then be used for a plethora of purposes such as dedicated VPN or ad blocking service, a wireless file management system, or a cost-free way to host websites. By installing the Apache web server and routing your mini computer to the internet, you can transform your Raspberry Pi into a personal server that can then perform a variety of tasks. Tired of trying to remember all your passwords, but don't want to lay out your trust in a third-party service? You can host your own password manager using the right configuration on your Raspberry Pi. Certain models of the Raspberry Pi can connect to the internet using Wi-Fi as well. So that's a separate chip, by the way. That's your Ethernet is for your wired, and then the wireless, which otherwise people would call Wi-Fi, that is a separate chip on the board. Create your own media player. This one mentions Plex. Plex app on the phone. That's what the headline, the caption reads. That's copyright T. Schneider / Shutterstock. Another connectivity advantage on the Raspberry Pi has over the Arduino is the HDMI port, allowing it to directly output both video and audio to a larger screen. With just a flash drive or micro SD card, you can convert your Raspberry Pi into a media player, a media center. Open Source Media Center, or OSMC for short, is one of the most popular distributions that utilizes the Kodi media player to handle playback. Once you've installed the operating system of choice, you can connect an external hard drive directly to the Raspberry Pi via the USB port and start watching content in case you're looking for something simpler. You can install Mopidity to stream music from your local hard drive or other popular services like Spotify or SoundCloud. Alternatively, you can set up a Plex library to stream your favorite music, movies, and TV shows. Instead of keeping a relatively high-powered laptop or desktop computer running, all the time as a server. You can offload the task to a much smaller and more efficient Pi microcomputer. And also the price is probably about half to a third of the cost. One of the reasons because you don't have the monitor, you don't have any of the other peripherals such as the keyboard or mouse, but you have enough to run a basic computer. So it just depends on your reason for using it and what your needs are. The other points out that you can read the original article on /gear. Before I finish the review, I would like to first of all thank you for taking the time to watch this video, as you could be watching any other tech review or any other science and technology review video, so I do appreciate that. As this did provide value for you, what I'd like you to do is please click like on the video. That way it'll be pushed to the algorithm and more people will be able to view it and enjoy it. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button. That way you'll have access to all the content on this channel, as I certainly do have a variety of content on this channel for you to enjoy and benefit from. And finally, if you haven't already, please click the bell button. That way you'll be notified of all my future videos. That is, when new videos come out, you'll be able to be notified accordingly about them, and you won't miss any of the new videos. So I'd like to wish you a great day wherever you are in the world. Take care, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.